Hi, good morning. My name is Joseph Atta, speaking to you live from Ghana, West Africa. I am in Takoradi, using my own room as a recording studio. You are welcome to my program, Mining for the Truth, which refers to the process of digging to discover the undiluted doctrines of Christ. I attend Church of Christ. I welcome all my viewers from all over the world: Australia, USA, Dubai, Nigeria, South Africa, and everywhere in Ghana and the world. I thank you for subscribing to my YouTube channel, Joseph Atta's Lyceum. Please continue with the subscription. Also, for following my Facebook page. Now I have 91 followers on Facebook and 98 subscribers on YouTube. I am so grateful. May God bless you for everything. And thank you also for viewing the videos. And I thank all my donors for supporting, those who have been sending me money to buy data to come live. Someone bought me the tripod. Someone also bought me Oraimo earbuds for recording, respectively. May God bless you so much, and then may He also replaces whatever you have lost. Now, last week we looked at piercing and tattoos. Should the Christian get tattooed? Leviticus 19 verse 28. And people have been viewing the video on Facebook. Thank you so much for everything. We are in chapter 8. So today's is chapter 8. Dressing. Is there a code of dress for Christians? Is there a code of dress for Christians? 1 Timothy 2 verse 9 and 10. And then 1 Peter 3 verse 3 to 5. So these are the two texts that we're going to use for today. So whichever I will open, I will read. 1 Peter 3 verse 3 to 4 to 5. Sorry. Your adornment should not be outward, as plaiting the hair and wearing of gold, or putting on of clothes. Verse 4. But let it be the hidden person of the heart, with the incorruptible quality of a meek and quiet spirit, which is precious in the sight of God. Verse 5. For after this manner in the former times, the holy women who trusted in God also adorned themselves, being submissive to their own husbands. You can add verse 6. Just as Sarah obeyed Abraham, but our interest is not there. Our interest is on dressing. So 1 Peter 3 verse 3 to 5 has been read. We move on to 1 Timothy 2 verse 9 and 10. In like manner also, that women dress themselves in modest clothing, with decency and sobriety, not with braided hair, or gold, or pearls, or costly clothing. Verse 10. But rather that which manifests women professing godliness through good works. So these are the two quotations that we are going to base our teachings on. So by introduction, Adam and Eve were first nude. If you go to Genesis 2 verse 25, 3 verse 7, let's read in case of any misunderstanding, then we clarify. Genesis 2 verse 25. And the man and his wife were both naked and were not ashamed. 3 verse 7. Then the eyes of both were opened, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves long clothes. So we're saying that the Adam and Eve, or the first couples, were first nude, as we just read in Genesis 2 verse 25, Genesis 2 verse 25, 3 verse 7. They were partially clothed with aprons. That is Genesis 3 verse 7 and 10. Now when we say aprons, we mean girdle. So something on their waist. So the woman will cover the chest. So girdle, long covering. God replaced the aprons, which were inadequate clothing, with coats. Coats. C-O-A-T-S. So Genesis 3 verse 21. God saw that the apron, or the aprons, was not enough, or were not enough, sorry. The apron wasn't enough, the aprons weren't enough. So Genesis 3 verse 21. And the Lord God made for Adam and for his wife garments of skins and clothed them. So we're saying that God replaced the aprons, which were inadequate clothing, with coats. Coats were generally with sleeves coming down to the knees. God replaced their shorts with garments covering from shoulders down to the knees, to cover the shame of their nakedness. So God gave them full clothing than the apron. And we, even nowadays, you know what an apron looks like, or how it resembles. Not a full, it's partial clothing. And of course, in terms of engineering, we say supplementary clothing. Now, God didn't end there. God made tunics of skin and clothed them, or clothed the first couples, as already we have mentioned in Genesis 3 verse 21. So tunics, some versions will say tunics, and some versions will also will make mention of a full cloth, or you can say garment. So you can say garments or tunics. Now, tunics were clothing items that basically covered the body from the shoulders down to the knees. So tunics or garments, full clothing from shoulders, or you can say from the neck to, below the knees, actually, down to the knees. So below the knees, God was sending a message to Adam and Eve and all the future generations subsequently, by the way that he clothed the first pair. When I say pair, I mean the first couples. Now, we move on by saying that keep the shoulder to knee flesh covered. So God is telling the future generation that as he did for Adam and Eve, so it must continue in every generation. Clothe yourselves from top to down, below the knee. To cover or see nakedness is a euphemism. To uncover or see nakedness is a euphemism for sexual intercourse. Let's go to Leviticus 18 verse 6. Leviticus 18 verse 6. Leviticus 18 verse 6. None of you shall approach any one of his close relatives to uncover nakedness. I am the Lord. The same Leviticus, let's go to 20 verse 7. So Leviticus 20 verse 7. Consecrate yourselves, therefore, and be holy, for I am the Lord your God. Sorry. 20 verse 17, sorry. I read the verse 7, I'm sorry. So Leviticus 20 verse 17. If a man takes his sister, a daughter of his father, or a daughter of his mother, and sees her nakedness, and she sees his nakedness, it is a disgrace, and they shall be cut off in the sight of the children of their people. He has uncovered his sister's nakedness, and he shall bear his iniquity. That's why we're saying that to uncover or see nakedness is a euphemism for sexual intercourse. Euphemism is the use of a word or phrase that is less expressive but considered less distasteful and less offensive than another. So we mean to use a word that is more polite than not, or than mentioning it in other ways. So someone will say be euphemistic means be polite. Your words must be wholesome. So when you hear uncover or see nakedness, we mean to lay or to have sex with someone. Now, under the law of Moses, priests who had their thighs uncovered were counted as being naked. Go to Exodus 28, verse 14 to 42. Exodus 28. Exodus 28. Verse 40 to 42. For Aaron's sons, you shall make coats and sashes and caps. You shall make them for glory and beauty. 41. And you shall put them on Aaron your brother and on his sons with him, and shall anoint them and ordain them and consecrate them, that they may serve me as priests. Verse 42. You shall make for them linen and the garments to cover their naked flesh. They shall reach from the hips to the thighs. So even at the Mosaic dispensation or Judaism, in Exodus 28, verse 40 to 42, priests who had their thighs uncovered were counted as being naked. That is something Christians of our era to emulate. So 2 Corinthians 3, verse 2. We are to emulate. 2 Corinthians 3, verse 2. Second Corinthians 3, verse 2. You are our letter, written in our hearts, known and read by all men. Though we are in a different era, but we are to maintain what happened during Judaism. 1 Peter 2, verse 9 and 10. 1 Peter 2, verse 9 and 10. But you are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a special people, so that you may proclaim the praises of him who has called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. Verse 10. You in time past were not a people, but are now the people of God, who have not obtained mercy, but now have obtained mercy. So this era must imitate B of my intro. Now in the Bible, simplicity is defined as the practice of removing distractions from our life. Simplicity is defined as the practice of removing distractions from our life. Simplicity is not about self-denial. It is a necessity. Indecent dressing represents a harlot. Proverbs 7, verse 10. Proverbs 7, verse 10. And behold, the woman meet him dressed as a prostitute, really of heart. So indecent dressing represents a harlot. Go to Genesis 38, verse 15. Something happened there between Judah and then Tamar. Let's see. Judah and Tamar. So Genesis 38, verse 15. When Judah saw her, he thought she was a prostitute, for she had covered her face. So dressing can depict that you are a prostitute. Now, according to Genesis 38, verse 18 to 19, Tamar wore widow's garments. She laid aside and put on veil. In so doing, Judah taught her to be a harlot, not a widower's garment, but a widow's garment. So when she changed her clothes or her clothing, Judah thought that she was a harlot. So indecent dressing or wrong dressing at the right time represent a prostitute. C. Indecency links to uncovered thighs. Cleavage. When we say cleavage, we mean in between breasts, the gap in between breasts, and all the sensitive part of the human body. Bushy hairs. At times, when we are talking about indecency or indecent dressing, then the boys or the men are happy, are thinking that it is always about the women. It is not true. So he's saying that indecency links to uncovered thighs, cleavage, and all sensitive parts of the human body. Bushy hairs, we see this normally on the boys. Beards, nowadays they are all mad. Almost all the boys are mad. They are all growing the beard. I don't know why they are doing so. When I say mad, it means they are all heading towards it. Poor haircuts with some lines and skinny clothes are equally indecent. Someone will go and buy a full material, go to the dressmaker to take the measurements, and the trowel at the end becomes so skinny and hanging. It is an indecency. Whether you are a boy or you are a man. Then what was the essence of being taken the measurement for? You bought a full clothing or a full material. Now they have been measured, and now they have shrink it to become so skinny and hanging. People can have improper thoughts about us, even though covered, but we need to make sure that we are not in any way a stumbling block to others by revealing to them what only our spouse should see. Sometimes when the cloth is so tight-fitting, it exposes the shape, the features, so unbearable to passers-by and those who see us as a by-person. When it is so tight, it's when sometimes the panties from the women may even draw. The shape is seen when you are by-person. So if you're a Christian, this becomes a stumbling block to others, of which we pass by them. There is no biblical support for indecency during special social occasions. There is no biblical support for indecency during special social occasions, such as graduations, weddings, funerals, and parties. The theory that one must appear special or different on a wedding day is a philosophy of fools, therefore foolishness. 1 Corinthians 3 verse 19a. 1 Corinthians 3 verse 19. For the wisdom of this world is foolishness to God. Basically, when there's a graduation, they wear artificial nails, eyelashes, they have some red or different colors makeups on the lips and almost everywhere. So artificial nails, manicure and pedicure, at weddings, funerals. And when you ask them, the sensible answer they will give it to you, both from the in-laws, the couples, those who are there, is that today is a special day. So therefore, you must be special. And I am asking you that, where is your biblical support to prove that God has approved that on your wedding day, wear artificial nails, apply makeup, the eyelashes and the nails? What is your proof? We are silent when the Bible is silent. We speak when the Bible speaks. Do not add or subtract. Do not add or subtract, or you become a liar. I think, let me see if I can find Revelation 22 verse 8. I'm checking. Revelation 22 verse 8. No. Okay, 22 verse 8. Now let's even go to verse 9. Then he said to me, no. I'm coming. I have a quotation for this, that do not add or subtract. Oh, I forgot. But it's in Revelation. It is in Revelation. Do not add or subtract. Or you'll be called a liar. And whoever will add and subtract will have a case at the end of Judgment Day. So, do not add or subtract. I'm asking you that. And those of you, very good. So, Revelation 22, verse 9, verse 18 to 19. Very good. I've seen it. Revelation 22, verse 18 to 19. For I testify to everyone who hears the words of the prophecy of this book. If anyone adds to these things, God will add to him the plagues that are written in this book. If anyone will take away from the words of this book, or from the words of the book of this prophecy, God will take away his parts out of the tree of life and out of the holy city and the things that are written in this book. Do not add or subtract. What is your proof that on the wedding day there must be manicure and pedicure, eyelashes, makeup? What is your proof in the Bible? No single biblical proof. Therefore, this is worldly wisdom. And as I just read from 1 Corinthians 3 verse 19a, for the wisdom of this world is foolishness to God. If you are sinning, continue to sin. Don't justify yourself, especially when there's no biblical proof as a Christian. If you want to sin, sin. We don't care who you are. Of course, it is your own choice to go to heaven or hell at the end. But do not be in the church, sin, and cover up by pride. You won't find this anywhere in the Bible, that you should appear different on the wedding day. In the olden days, my mother didn't do any wedding. She has no wedding ring on. They even had the best of marriages compared to nowadays. she didn't apply any specialized makeup for her to look extraordinary beautiful. No. No biblical proof. The sexually exploitative way in which women dress in skimpy and provocative dress is lasciviousness. Galatians 5, verse 19. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are fornication, uncleanness, lewdness. I will even end there. The sexually exploitative way in which women dress in skimpy, skimpy and provocative dress that are capable of provoking the thoughts is lasciviousness. As I just read in Galatians 5 verse 19. Now lasciviousness is defined as inciting to lust or wantonness. Romans 13 verse 13. Romans 13 verse 13. Romans 13 verse 13. Let us walk honestly in the day, not in revelings and drunkenness, not in sexual promiscuity and lewdness, not in strife and jealousy. So here, we said that lasciviousness is defined as inciting to lust or wantonness. And wantonness means the state of being lewd and lascivious, or the quality of being lewd and lascivious. Wantonness. Indecent bodily movements. So we have lasciviousness being defined as inciting to lust or wantonness, and indecent bodily movements. The way you walk and then you are shaking. For the buttocks, precisely on the part of the women, to shake up, to shake for men, to entice men, to provoke them. And if you are the man, you wear fit to show your muscles and then others. It means that which would produce lewd or lustful thoughts or emotions. We are still on lasciviousness. Inciting to lust or wantonness. Indecent bodily movements. And that which would produce lewd or lustful thought or emotions. Some will go home being overburdened, thinking about how the Christian woman walked to pass them. So you see that the lust will preoccupy the mind, and this person cannot sleep. It may end up in rape sometimes. D. The clothing these young women wore or lack thereof exposes most of their female assets for all the world to see. So we're saying that the clothing these women wore or lack thereof exposes most of their female assets for all the world to see. Even hidden women knew the embarrassment of lifting their skirts to cross a river. Let's go to Isaiah. Of course, now I'll give you the objective. I'm doing the introduction, so I'll give you the reason why we are learning. Let's go to Isaiah 47. Isaiah 47. Verse 2 and 3. Take the milestones and grind flour. Put off your veil, strip off your robe, and cover your legs. Pass through the rivers. Your nakedness shall be uncovered, and your disgrace shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will spare no one. So even the Hittite women knew the embarrassment of lifting their skirts to cross a river. When we say Hittite, it means someone who is a pagan, unbeliever, or antichrist. Basically, the person does not believe that Christians should believe in God. So the person believes in no God. So we say Hittite. Then the last one, we are on E. A man in underwear. A man in underwear or boxers, revealing his thighs and without a shirt, exposes the shame of his nakedness to women. Why should you be in boxers in a compound house or in a yard or maybe in the street? So you expose your shame and nakedness to women. Why do we wear clothes anyway? In summary, why do we wear clothes? To cover our nakedness. We wear clothes to cover our nakedness. Period. So therefore, God changed the apron into garments or tunics to cover the full body for Adam and then Eve. Now, we look at the objectives of the studies. A. Exegesis of 1 Timothy 2, verse 9 and 10. And 1 Peter 3, verse 3 to 5. B. The misconception, or to know the misconception about Deuteronomy 22, verse 5. And its linkage to the New Testament worship. I said B. To know the misconception about Deuteronomy 22 verse 5 and its linkage to the New Testament worship. C. To know the world's most beautiful woman. So who is the world's most beautiful woman? Then the last one, D. To know the 10 biblical characteristics of the world's most beautiful woman. So we start the presentation. I was trying to warm up. Exegesis of 1 Timothy 2, verse 9 and 10. And 1 Peter 3, verse 3 to 5. Now 1 Timothy. I will read again and then try to explain. We're going to explain it. First Timothy. Okay. 1 Timothy 2, verse 9. In like manner also, that women dress themselves in modest clothing, with decency and sobriety, not with braided hair, or gold, or pearls, or costly clothing, but rather, verse 10, but rather that which manifests women professing godliness through good works. I will also read the first 30 verse 3 to 5. But I think already they have been read. So now, sometimes when you read this, or some may misinterpret this, but let's see, Christian women are not prevented from dressing nicely or neatly. So be careful how you explain. Christian women are not prevented or forbidden from dressing nicely. The Christian women must dress to appear so attractive to glorify God. You are hereby informed that even if you don't dress well, you don't get a good man to marry you. Bible isn't against dressing. Bible is against indecent dressing. She can even apply dim makeup in case of dried facial skin. So for example, normal powder. Or in Ghana, we have what we call a Harmattan season. It is so dry that it causes some cracks on the lips. So normally we have what we call the lip shine. So you see the women mostly applying the lip shine. They are applying for a specific purpose. So this one, there's no way we can go against it. So we say dim makeup, and even that lip gloss, that's why they say shine. It just makes it a bit shiny, and not in red, in green, in black. No, but it is dim, so dim. So she can even apply dim, D-I-M, makeup in case of dry facial skin. When you have a dry skin, the makeup is not good to be applied. Otherwise, one has added to the body God created, except for special and sensible reasons, not against him. So the fact that I've mentioned that the Christian can apply dim makeup does not mean that apply makeup of what they have been doing at the cosmetic shops and then others. I mean, through cosmetology. The makeup is not a good to be applied. Otherwise, what it means you try to add to the body that God created, except for special and sensible reasons, not against him. As I was saying, if your lips have cracked, all the lips are cracked due to Harmattan season, and if you apply the lip shine to prevent it from rotting, this one, because it is dim, it is acceptable. This does not mean that apply makeup, otherwise you are adding to the body God has already created. Makeups have adverse effects since most beauticians are illiterate and thus lack the chemistry and biological concepts of creams and other beauty products. Most hairdressers and most beauticians are illiterate. Most of them are illiterate. How many of them even have a diploma in what they are doing? It was a mere apprenticeship. And you find a whole graduate going to the salon for an illiterate hairdresser to cause her harm in future because of ignorance. That's why we think that makeups have adverse effects since most beauticians are illiterate and they lack the chemistry and biological concepts of creams and other beauty products. Some have applied these makeups for so many years that when you see them, they resemble a complete Ghanaian witch. I mean witches. They resemble complete Ghanaian witches. Because you see different colors. On the face, some portion is deep red, some part is black, some part is gray, some part is even white. So normally, we see them as witches. Eyelashes, artificial nails, and nail polish, or nail varnish, or nail enamel are sinful before God. Eyelashes, artificial nails, and nail polish. When I say nail polish, what you have been using to paint your nails, some are red, green, and others. So So we say nail polish, nail varnish, or nail enamel are sinful before God. They are sinful. I want to clarify this. Some may be debating that they wear artificial nails because they have been chewing their fingernails. So therefore, when they wear the artificial nails, the nail will prevent them from chewing the fingernails. You have no excuse. Some will debate that some Christians don't know how to approach their fellow Christians when they see them wearing artificial nails. They should be calm with them. You are an antichrist, and this is stupidity to the highest level. I mean, what do you mean? Don't you have sense that wearing nails is a sin and against the purpose of the church? Don't you know? You don't pamper a sinner. In case you are unaware, you must be rebuked because it is pride in you. Satan is ruining your heart. How dare you? Who are you? And what do you mean? That you have worn nails to church. So therefore, your sister or your brother should calmly address this issue. You are an antichrist. Continue in this your stubbornness, you die and go to hell. You don't rebuke with even smile face, in case you are unaware. You don't rebuke with a smile face. We rebuke by disfiguring the face. The face must be disfigured for the culprit to know that you are really serious. So when you paint your fingernails, precisely, normally they have been using the red. You call it a nail polish. You can say nail varnish or nail enamel. And your excuse is that because of some fungi, that's why I've used to paint it. You are not educated person. You will find this foolishness anywhere. It is not even found in any book that nail polish, precisely maybe the red one, can cure fungi. So listen, a fungal nail is not an excuse to apply nail polish, nail varnish, nail enamel. Nail polish, nail varnish, they are all the same. You see, they are synonyms. So you can say nail polish, nail varnish, nail enamel. It's a lacquer that can be applied to the human fingernail or toenails to decorate and protect the nail plate. The phrase to decorate and protect the nail plate illustrates that a fungal nail must be treated with antifungal serum, not nail polish, varnish, enamel. I can always prove a point. You see, for the Antichrist, they become so annoyed when you disprove them. Oh, then they are angry. Oh, they become so angry. Why? Because Satan, who has been ruling in their heart, has been defeated by Christ. We can only rule Satan by the Bible. You have no excuse. I said you find this foolishness anywhere in the Bible or in any book. That means the book was even authored by someone who isn't a professional person. Once again, I'm saying that painting your fingernail is not a cure to fungal nail. In case you are that ignorant, because I'm using the Bible to prove everything. I won't waste time to go on and to Google anything. I'm using the Bible to prove it. So here we are saying that eyelashes, of course, I'm trying to reiterate. Artificial nails and nail polish, varnish or enamel are sinful before God. They are sinful. They are sinful. No matter how you justify it, they are sinful. Period. a fungi nail is not an excuse to apply nail polish, varnish, or enamel. Nail polish, varnish, or enamel is a lacquer that can be applied to the human fingernail or toenails to decorate and protect the nail plate. So those who apply, they have this as their idea. However, the phrase to decorate and protect the nail plates illustrate that a fungal nail must be treated with anti-fungal serum, not nail polish, varnish, or enamel. I suppose this has been clearly explained. So, henceforth, don't go and buy that nail varnish to paint your nails. And when you are questioned, you lie ignorantly that I apply to cure my fungal nail. It is not true. Now let's try to explain some Greek words. Adon. The word for adon, Greek word for adon is komio. Kosmio. It means to put in proper order. That is decorate. All these words are found in 1 Timothy 2, verse 10. We have modest. The Greek word is kosmios. It means sensibly, orderly. That is decorous. When we say decorous, decorous, it means well mannered, decent, restrained, and simple in style. Simplicity. So modest refers to not being offensive to sexual mores in conduct or appearance. Modest also refers to being marked by simplicity, having a humble opinion of yourself. Having a humble opinion of yourself. Now, modesty prohibits dressing or adding anything to the body that is provocative, sensual, revealing, and exploitative. Modesty. You see, I'm trying to define the Greek terms, but here we are on modest. So I've defined, and I'm trying to add a modesty also. So modesty prohibits dressing or adding anything to the body that is provocative, sensual, revealing, that is exposing, and exploitative. Propriety. The Greek word is eidos, which means reverence, to show special respect before God. Moderation. The Greek word is sophosuni, which means soundness of mind, sanity, and self-control. All these are found in 1 Timothy 2, verse 9 and 10. I'm trying to address some key words. Braided hair. When you hear of braided hair, 1 Timothy 2, verse 9. Not with braided hair. I said propriety, sorry. Sobriety, sorry. Sobriety, sorry. Sobriety rather, not propriety, sorry. So he said that, in like manner also that women dress themselves in modest clothing, with decency and sobriety, not with braided hair or gold, or pearls, or costly clothing. So sobriety is eidos, which means reverence. Sorry, I wrote propriety. Sorry, I'm sorry. So sobriety. Now braided hair. Now we are on the braided hair. It means not spending so much time and money to decorate the hairstyle with expensive beads, gold, and jewelry. That's all. Braided hair. A simple hairstyle is ideal, but do not spend so much time 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, time and money to decorate the hairstyle with expensive beads, gold, and jewelry or jewelries. So here we say that the apostle says that there is a proper manner for Christian women to dress, and that is to dress in a way that professes godliness. Dress to profess godliness. That's all. Before wearing a particular article of clothing, a Christian woman or man should ask if it meets this criteria. If it meets 1 Timothy 2 verse 9 and 10. And if it's not, and if not, it should not be worn by any Christian woman or man who wants to please God. If your dressing is not in line with 1 Timothy 2 verse 9 and 10, do not put it or them on at all. Now 2 Peter 3 verse 3 to 5. For this one, I'm not going to elaborate the Greek words. I'm just trying to paraphrase. Now notice that the apostle said, this is the manner in which holy women who trusted in God dressed. Therefore, there was a proper dress for those who were serving God in former times. And Peter advocates this manner of dress, not style, for Christian women today or this era. So the what about the 1 Peter 3 verse 5 to 3 verse 3 to 5 is that the women in the Bible, I mean those who are gone, they had their way of dressing, and therefore there was a proper dress for those who were serving God in former times. And therefore Peter is here to advocate this manner of dress, not style, for Christian women today. So we are down with the exegesis of the text. That's the A. Now we are on B. Hey, there's a problem here. So let's see this one. Deuteronomy 22 verse 5. Hey! You see how people fumble with this? Even at times my own church members. When I say my church members, I mean it could be different branches. So Deuteronomy 22 verse 5. Actually, we are going to create consciences here. And it is not easy. Okay, 22 verse 5. A woman shall not wear a man's garment, nor shall a man put on a woman's cloak. For whoever does these things is an abomination to the Lord your God. A woman shall not wear a man's garment, nor shall a man put on a woman's cloak. For whoever does these things is an abomination to the Lord your God. So here we have the misconception about 22 verse 5 and its linkage to the New Testament worship. I am a New Testament worshipper. I am in the New Testament worship. So we're trying to understand Deuteronomy 22 verse 5. It is about dress codes in ancient Israel. A holiness code of rules and regulations for the Israelites, a society, to strictly follow in order to maintain their covenant with God. So simple. I mean, so simple to understand. It is about dress codes in ancient Israel. A holiness code of rules and regulations for the Israelite society to strictly follow in order to maintain their covenant with God. It may be also directed especially to priestly sacred garments prohibited not to be worn by non-priests or the opposite gender. It may be also directed especially to priestly sacred garments, prohibited not to be worn by non-priests or the opposite gender. So here we are saying that it was about specialized clothing to be worn by the priest. Simple. And therefore, if you are not a priest, you were forbidden to wear. Likewise, if you are a woman, you can't wear. All because the priests were men. So how can the women in the days of the Israelites wear or wore male garments? Its linkage to the New Testament worship is that this text is seen as part of the Old Covenant, or the Old Covenant laws for the nation Israel only, and it is no longer binding on Christians. Colossians 2 verse 14. When Christ died, he wiped out Mosaic dispensation from the way. Colossians 2 verse 14. Wiping out the handwriting of ordinances that was against us, which was contrary to us, and he took it out of the way, having nailed it to the cross. So the 2022 verse 5 is seen as part of the Old Covenant laws for the nation Israel only, and it is no longer binding on Christians. So, interpreting this verse as a Christian in this era, as a teaching principle of distinction between men and women dressing, it's a gross digression. Christian women, so basically they will say that the women are not supposed to wear trousers, or they're not supposed to wear what belong to the men. Who told you that? That this is what was said in this text. Christian women are not forbidden to wear trousers. Nowhere in the Bible have I ever seen that Christian women are forbidden from wearing trousers, but must be in strict accordance with modesty and not offensive. That's all. So it should be loose trousers, loose, not fit or skinny. Skimpy. No, it should be loose. Then you wear something like a gown to cover the backs. So the trousers should be so loose. So you can't prove to me that Deuteronomy 22 verse 5 is saying that women shouldn't wear trousers in New Testament worship. However, even this law does not even bind to us. We are Israel of God. Galatians 6 verse 16c. Not the nation Israel. This law was even applied to the nation Israel. We are Israel of God. So that's not applied to us. However, the text was never about forbidding women from wearing trousers, but rather dress codes in ancient Israel, a holiness code of rules and regulations for the Israelite society to strictly follow in order to maintain their covenant with God, period. And also to priestly sacred garments, prohibited not to be worn by non-priests and the opposite gender. So simple and clear. So transparent. So therefore, to think that the chapter and verse is trying to segment what men should wear to be different from what a woman should wear means that you don't understand the scriptures. So having said that, I believe that I am done interpreting the misconception by Deuteronomy 22 verse 5 and its linkage to the New Testament worship. If you want to wear a crown as a woman, it should not be skimpy, should not be exploitative, should not be provocative, must not be offensive, but in modesty, with reference to 1 Timothy 2 verse 9 and 10, 1 Peter 3 verse 3 to 5. See, the world's most beautiful woman, the world's most beautiful woman. Who is she? Who is she? So let's see. Now I'll take you to Washington DC. I mean America. So American supermodel Bella Hadid. American supermodel Bella Hadid is world's most beautiful woman according to science. American supermodel Bella Hadid is world's most beautiful woman according to science. She has a face that is 94.35% perfect. She has a face that is 94.35% perfect. So based on this, the world has seen her as the world's most beautiful woman. She is from Washington DC. So the question, who is the most beautiful woman? Well, she is not a movie star, actually. Of course, she's a model. So she is not a movie star, and she does not live in Hollywood. She is not a movie star, and she does not live in Hollywood. She is beautiful in the sight of God, who looks at the heart. 1 Samuel 16 verse 7. I mean, using the Bible to prove and disprove all errors. And once again, the Antichrist is so annoyed. When they see you speaking from the Bible, then they are so angry because they can't defeat you again. And therefore, always I'll use the Bible. Because they don't know the Bible. In fact, they're already against Christ. So why would they even waste time? The word is Christ, so they won't even become near because it will expose them. So 1 Samuel 16 verse 7. I think God looked at Moses' heart. I said Moses' heart. David's heart. But the Lord said to Samuel, do not look on his appearance or on the height of his stature, because I have rejected him. For the Lord sees not as man sees. Man looks on the outward appearance, but the Lord looks on the heart. When Samuel was sent to go to anoint David to replace Saul. So therefore, we have seen that the word most beautiful woman is what God will classify in 1 Samuel 16 verse 7. The world admires beauty as never before. Hollywood pays more than ever for beautiful actresses, and the public pays more to see them. But that is outward beauty, which they pay so much to see. That is the beauty which is charmingly deceitful and vain. So Proverbs 31 verse 30. Proverbs 31 verse 30a. Charm is deceitful, so and beauty is vain. Charm is deceitful and beauty is vain. That's why we're saying that. Hollywood, no, the world admires beauty as never before. Hollywood pays more than ever for beautiful actresses. So it means if you are ugly or they won't select you for the audition because you are ugly, and the public pays more to see them. But that is outward beauty, which they pay so much to see. That is the beauty which is charmingly deceitful and vain. We are on that point D. So you have seen that according to the Bible, Bella Hadid is not the world's most beautiful woman. Yes. God looks heart, on the heart, not outward, or you can say in the heart, not outward. I mean physical appearance, no. Physical appearance might be deceitful, or appearance might be deceitful. So God looks in the heart. So if you cover yourself, it's when God sees your real beauty and not to expose your body part, sensitive body part for an audition, to wear some clothes as a mannequin to showcase on a beauty pageant. Then at the end, they crown you. No. 10 biblical characteristics of the world's most beautiful woman. You see, we are still criticizing. What the world sees, what the Antichrist sees as right, is wrong in the Bible. 1, she's a new creation. 2 Corinthians 5 verse 17. That if anyone is in Christ, he's a new creature. All things are passed away. Behold, all things are flesh. So the world's most beautiful woman, the first is that she is a new creation. The phrase new creation means A, walk in newness of life. Of course, I'm going to give you 10 biblical characteristics or features of the world's most beautiful woman. And the first is she's a new creation. A new creation, as a phrase, means walk in newness of life. Romans 6 verse 4. Romans 6 verse 4. Romans 6 verse 4. Therefore, we are buried with him through immersion into death, that just as Christ was raised up from the dead through the glory of the Father, even so we also might walk in newness of life. So the new creation walk in the newness of life. 2, put off the old man with his deeds. Colossians 3 verse 9. I have fact to buttress every argument. I love challenge. So when I quote, I read. So that in case I am wrong, then I can correct myself. And then you, the reader or the listener too, can also correct me. So Colossians 3 verse 9. Do not lie to one another, since you have put off the old man with his deeds. To put off old man with his deeds means the things once loved are now abhorred. The things once loved are now, we detest it when she sees. So this means the things she once loved are now abhorred. She now detests them so much. So you won't go for any audition to expose yourself that you are the world's most beautiful woman. This isn't found in the Bible. C, we are still on point 1. C, put on. So the phrase new creation means put on the new self. That is righteousness and holiness. Ephesians 4 verse 24. Ephesians 4 verse 24. And to put on the new man, which after God is created in righteousness and true holiness. So I've given you 3 definitions of new creation. Number 2, she's a Christian. The believer is not a Christian. Church members are not Christians. she is a Christian. She is a Christian. Acts 11, verse 26, where the disciples or the members were first called. I will even read it. I don't want to get someone to think. Acts 11, verse 26. Let me read. Acts 11, verse 26. And when he had found him, he brought him to Antioch. And it came to pass for a whole year that they assembled with the church and taught many people. And the disciples were first called Christians in Antioch. This was divine call. It was not just a name. Divine call. You can also go to Acts 26, verse 28, where the king said, Paul has almost persuaded him to become a Christian. Acts 26, verse 28. Then Agrippa said to Paul, in a short time, you almost persuade me to become a Christian. 1 Peter 4, verse 16. Peter 4, verse 16. Yet if anyone suffers as a Christian, so Acts 11, verse 26, 26, verse 28, 1 Peter 4, verse 16, and where you find the term Christian. When we say Christian, the Greek word is Christianos. So the suffix einos means belonging to, property of Christ. So a Christian is a property of Christ. Now point 3. She is godly and speaks of herself as a holy woman. Now 1 Peter 3, verse 5. For after this manner in the former times, the holy women who trusted in God also adorned themselves, being submissive to their own husbands. She is godly and speaks of her as the holy women. She must be holy. Point 4. She is in subjection to her husband and not a suffragette. And not a suffragette. 1 Peter verse 6. Just as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord, whose children you are, if you do right and are not afraid with any terror. Sarah obeyed and called his husband Lord. She is in subjection to her husband. That's the meaning of today's, or the word most beautiful woman from the Bible. Now, suffragette is a woman who advocates for women's right to vote. Or we say that a suffragette is a woman advocate for women's right to vote. It means she is trying to incite them. Yes, she tries to instigate, to incite them to be autonomous, to be completely independent. I am also on my own. What men can do, I can even do it better and best. That's why we call you suffragettes. Suffragettes. Suffragett. That's why we're saying that she is in subjection to her husband and not a suffragette, not someone who will advise you to go and compete with your husband. You see only this in the world, not in the Bible, that the wife must compete with the husband. That's why Sarah obeyed and called Abraham Lord. When you are submissive, does not mean that you are useless. Therefore, the man must trample on you as a filthy rag. No. But it's a responsibility. When you do this, then he will also love you unconditionally. That's all. She believes that women get their greatest happiness submitting entirely to the will of God. We are still on the same point. Point 4. She believes that women get their greatest happiness in submitting entirely to the will of God. And not to become antagonistic, to go against a complete antagonistic to men, to gather women, to fight against men in the society. Now, point 5. She can win her husband to the Lord by her chastity or virtuous behavior. 1 Peter 3 verse 1. Likewise, wives, be submissive to your own husband, so that if any do not obey the word, they, without the word, may be won by the behavior of their wives. Now, I'm here to preach to you. If you read about Matthew 28, verse 19 to 20, Mark 16, 15 to 16, the Great Commission, go ye therefore. It's saying that we should send the Bible, go out to preach, and bring the unbelievers to repentance. Of course, we will teach them as well. So normally, all what we know is that pick your Bible, go out to teach. But hey, 1 Peter 3 verse 1 is saying that even your own behavior can win a soul. Your behavior, virtuous behavior, can win an unbeliever husband to converted, to become a Christian. Virtuous behavior. We are still looking at 10 features, 10 biblical features of the world's most beautiful woman. Now, point 6. Her adornment is not outward, but spiritual. So, 1 Peter 3 verse 3. Your adornment should not be outward, as plaiting the hair and wearing of gold, or putting on of clothes. Her adornment is not outward, but spiritual. She does not want carnal attractiveness. She does not want vain beauty, as we read in Proverbs 1 verse 30, but the beauty of holiness. She does not want carnal attractiveness. When I say carnal, I mean fleshy, flesh. She does not want vain beauty, Proverbs 31 verse 30, but the beauty of holiness, Psalm 29 verse 2. Beauty of holiness, Psalm 29 verse 2. Ascribe to the Lord the glory due his name. Worship the Lord in the splendor of holiness. Now, point 7. Her beauty is in the hidden man of the heart. 1 Peter 3 verse 4. But let it be hidden person of the heart, with the incorruptible quality of a meek and quiet spirit, which is precious in the sight of God. She has the incorruptible apparel of a meek and quiet spirit. Simplicity. She dresses so simply, she covers up everything. No miniskirts, no show your back, show your stomach and tummy, bare back, spaghetti dressing, knickers and shorts to roam in the streets as if you're a prostitute. Point 8. She focuses on inward beauty, only for the Lord to see. This is very precious in the sight of God. Same Bible quotation, 1 Peter 3 verse 4. She focuses on inward beauty, not only for the Lord to see. Sorry. She focuses on the inward beauty only for the Lord to see. This is very precious in the sight of God. 9. She is meek. That is humble, not haughty, like the daughters of Zion of Isaiah's day, who walk with one-tone eyes, lewd and lascivious eyes, walking and mincing as they go. So Isaiah 3 verse 16. Isaiah 3 verse 16. Isaiah. So you see them in town walking and then shaking themselves to attract negative customers. So 3 verse 16. If all men are like myself, no one will stare at you. Actually, I don't stare at women. For what? Why should I stare at my fellow human being? For what? I hate indecency. So I am not even interested in that. The Lord said, because the daughters of Zion are haughty and walk with outstretched necks, glancing wantonly with their eyes, mincing along as they go, tinkling with their feet. So as they are going, they walk to persuade and entice, to stumble block. That's all. Wantoness. This was an useless impression. To walk to impress, and to walk wantonessly, or to walk to mince, to attract, was useless. It's useless. So all these impressions are waste of time. Now, point 10. She is a woman whose spirit is not only meek, but quiet. So mild. She's so mild. She's so mild. Both the spirit and even the flesh. Everything is so mild. Now, conclusion. We are saying that dress not to be lasted. Matthew 5 verse 28. But I say to you that whoever looks at a woman to lust for her has already committed adultery with her in his heart. Dress not to be lasted. The Christian must avoid extravagant and indecent dressing. Extravagant, too expensive. Too expensive. You must avoid extravagant and indecent dressing. Point 2. Woe to that man by whom the offense comes. Matthew 18 verse 7. Luke 17 verse 1 and 2. Matthew 18 verse 7. Woe to the world because of offenses, for it is inevitable that offenses come, but woe to that man through whom the offenses comes. Luke 17 verse 1 and 2. Luke 17 verse 1 and 2. That then he said to the disciples, it is inevitable that offenses will come, but woe to him through whom they come. It would be better for him if a millstone were hung around his neck and he were thrown into the sea, than that he should offend one of these little ones. So woe to you, dressing to attract, to seduce, to entice. Woe unto you. The stumbling blocks denote temptations and traps set to lure one to sin. And the stumbling blocks is reference to temptations and traps set to lure one to sin. Now, today, of my conclusion, do everything to glorify God. Do everything to glorify God. 1 Corinthians 10, verse 31. Whatever you eat or drink, do all to the glory of God. Question 3, verse 17. It's also saying the same thing. Are you glorifying God with your indecent dressing, miniskirts, shorts, knickers, exposing your breasts, your back, your tummy, your navel in the streets, the man wearing boxers to impress the girls around foolishly? Are you doing this to the glory of the Lord? 1 John 2, verse 15 to 16 is saying that do not love the world, nor the things in the world. The lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, the pride of life are not from the Father, but from the world. Ephesians 5, verse 15 to 17. Be careful how you walk as wise, not a fool, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Therefore, do not be foolish, but understand what the will of the Lord is. The will of the Lord means to be sensible, to refrain from foolishness, pay heed to instructions. That's the essence of Ephesians 5, verse 17a. Therefore, do not be foolish means pay heed to instructions in order to become wise. Refrain from foolish walking. Obey the Lord today. Because if you continue in your sins, you will die and go to hell. My name is Joseph Fata, and I'm from Ghana, West Africa. This brings us to the end of my presentation today. I see you next week on chapter 9, the literal perils of dancing. I have part 2, so I'm now contemplating if I will join them one or teach part 1 and then later teach part 2. But topic is the literal perils of dancing. Until then, my number is 0248 026557. You can call, you can comment, and you can donate. Bye bye, and God bless you so much.